Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths, kind of. This is a little bit more scripted than what I usually do because people have been telling me to do that for literally years. And well, this is the kind of thing that you need to write ahead of time in order to get a sense of what the whole idea is. So, you probably looked at the title of this video and are wondering what the heck this is about. Well, this is something that applies primarily to people who create YouTube or, I guess, Twitch content on From the Depths. So if you don't make content on From the Depths, you don't need to worry. This doesn't really apply to you directly. But the main thing is, I'm going to try and avoid sounding like I'm complaining in this video, because From the Depths is a magnificent game. Creating content, and creating content for From the Depths specifically, is also great, and I don't regret it at all. I do not regret this channel becoming a From the Depths channel in the least, because it was nothing before I started covering From the Depths, and, well, it grew into something beautiful, and that's fantastic. And also, this is not really anyone's fault. What I'm about to describe, the way of things, the situation I and other people find myself in, it's not really something that you can point the finger at anyone in particular, so there's no blame game happening here. No one needs to feel bad or feel guilty. And, well, we're just gonna get into it, so please enjoy this scripted voiceover as mostly unrelated From the Depths footage plays. So what is this? What is the From the Depths content curse? Well, it is a combination of just how YouTube works and how that interacts with how From the Depths as a game, and a game with its particular characteristics, works. So the YouTube algorithm is, like algorithms tend to be, simultaneously very, very smart and very, very stupid. And one of the results of this is that it naturally pigeonholes channels and encourages them to specialize in mostly one particular kind of content, which makes sense from the perspective of the folks at YouTube HQ. It means that channels have to diversify, and you can't get easy views just by, all focusing on the same thing. There's some variety between different channels. And because of this, I have a strong suspicion, and of course it's kind of hard to prove anything without actual access to the algorithm itself. But I suspect that the algorithm doesn't promote videos that are off-topic for a channel. And the reason I say this is because occasionally, in the non-From the Depths content I make, you'll get an occasional comment saying, hang on, you do non-From the Depths stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Have you not seen the channel? But this kind of, I guess natural's the wrong word, but this kind of algorithmic specialization couples with people's natural and kind of expected predisposition to click on their preferred content. Basically, this means that creators, and especially smaller creators, are kind of forced to hyper-focus. Now, this applies to YouTube in general, and smaller content creators just in general. You see this all the time. If you actually look at a YouTube channel, particularly a smaller one, like maybe just a few thousand, a few tens of thousands, maybe below 100,000, because what is big on YouTube depends on your perspective, and depends on the topic. But you'll notice that, especially in the early videos, you can see the trend, at what point the channel starts to take off, and the videos that get preferred by both the algorithm and the viewers, and the ones which kind of get left behind. Even though the ones which get left behind are still, they can still be very good in their own right. But I'm getting slightly off tangent here, so much for the script. This kind of phenomenon of the algorithm, and the algorithm steering the viewers and the viewers steering the algorithm, combines with the overall lack of From the Depths YouTube coverage, bearing in mind that this is a reasonably obscure, independently developed game, and Brilliant Skies Limited doesn't really have a giant marketing engine, because it works both ways. If something gets seen a lot on YouTube, that helps promote it, but also things which are promoted are more likely to get clicked on. So it kind of, it is market forces, but also market manipulation. It just goes around in a big circle. But what this means is that any channel that covers it will immediately get picked up by the algorithm as being From the Depths focused, because there's not a hell of a lot of From the Depths videos on YouTube. It's just you kind of see the same people over and over again, and a lot of the like most popular From the Depths videos are kind of old, like multiple years old, which means that particularly for smaller channels, they tend to get steered towards being From the Depths focused and specialized unless they already have an established content base. So for people like Robaz, for instance, he was making quite widely viewed content before, like, you know, he even touched From the Depths. Like his Skyrim videos, for instance, got plenty of views, and so he could cover From the Depths, get a lot of views, but then move on from that, and he, like, you know, still does fine. Doesn't make videos much anymore, which is understandable because, you know, we'll get to that. And other people like Patchbits, who mostly covers Sprocket, by the way, but he's done a From the Depths video or two. Haven't done it for a while. And Lathrix as well. For a period of time, the most viewed videos on his channel were all From the Depths. And the other series he did, you could see, like, it was flagging a little bit in comparison. So, like, this put together, I suspect that many regular viewers of From the Depths focused channels, not just mine, but others, like Lathrix, and, like, others, don't actually get recommended non-From the Depths themed videos made by the same creator due to how the algorithm works. It'll push one or the other and tends to favor, with smaller channels, the content rather than who's making it. So, and at this point, this is where I want to ask the question, because I'm open to being proved wrong about this. How many of the people watching here, of those of you who watch my channel regularly, even knew that I do non-From the Depths related content? Because I do. I try and diversify occasionally, and I have a sneaking suspicion that, like, alright, it's of course people might see it and not click on it because they don't want to. That's fine. But I am wondering if people even see it, like, at all. So let me know if you actually have seen it and if you did know. Right, moving on from there, why is this a problem? Like, certainly people from this point of the video are saying, like, what the hell are you complaining about? At least people are watching your stuff, right? Well, in a general sense, this kind of algorithm plus viewer preference kind of stifles creativity and experimentation for a content creator. Basically, you get pushed towards pretty much one thing and one thing only, which, if it's something that has a little bit of versatility to it and a little bit of room to experiment, that's okay. And arguably From the Depths very much has that, because it's a very complex game, and you can do many, many different things on it. You can focus on many different things in it. But that's the thing. If you are pushed towards creating From the Depths content, you are being railroaded to cover an extremely complex, extremely difficult, and a very time-consuming game if you want to maximize your views, which is natural, by the way. Even if you don't want to make a living on YouTube, the more people watch something, that kind of acts as almost social encouragement to keep covering that kind of content. Like, even if you don't care about ad revenue and stuff like that, like, people get influenced in that way to do that. And content creation burnout is a very real thing. And of course, people who don't really know what goes into YouTube channels kind of sometimes roll their eyes on this as saying, like, dude, if you're doing it for a job, it's like one of the best jobs in the world. What the hell are you whining about? But it can be stressful. What you are physically doing is being inside all day, essentially talking to yourself. So in a weird way, it's kind of a lonely experience, unless you're doing it with other people. So that kind of helps a lot, but many of us don't have that. But yeah, burnout is a real thing, and the significant time investment and, like, behind-the-scenes work in order to get good at From the Depths makes it even worse, which is why it's very rare, I feel, to see anyone cover it extensively for more than a few years at a time. Bearing in mind, this game has been around for a while. It's been, like, almost 10 years since it was first released, and made publicly accessible on Steam. So even the best burn out. So Robaz, I think, hasn't done anything From the Depths related for a while. He kind of came back to a little bit, but, like, he hasn't touched it in quite some time. Ireland Gaming, who was in, like, one of the best compliments I ever got in the comment section was people saying that I was like a worthy successor to Lurch of Ireland Gaming. Because he's what actually got me into From the Depths. And he just did, like, wonderful tutorials, wonderful Let's Plays of the game, and he stopped, he burned out, and, like, he hasn't covered it ever since. And, you know, apparently he's doing absolutely fine, it's just, you know, he's not making videos. And other people, slightly more obscure, perhaps like Rosefall, and even Lathrix, who is the current, even now, even though it's not his primary focus, he's pretty much the king of From the Depths content creation, because what he makes people watch, and what he makes is very good. Like, in particular, like, he can do adventure mode, and I cannot do that. I don't find it fun, and it's not entertaining when I do it, at least I don't think so. Even Lathrix had to take a 2-year break from it. Or at least I think it was 2 years. And for myself, I might be completely burnt out. I'm not sure what point you know that you're done with something, but From the Depths definitely does not feel as fulfilling as it used to. And even looking at the workshop evokes feelings in me of like, yeah, I've seen it, whatever, which is not the right response you want for things which people have put a lot of time and effort to. Like, for my series Weird and Wonderful, for instance, you need a sense of wonder in order to cover it properly, because otherwise it just becomes a grind, and that's not what I want to do with the channel, or that series in particular. I do not want to look at someone's essentially virtual baby, because that's what From the Depths creations tend to be, and be, you know, kind of bored and dismissive of it. It's really unfair to the person who made it. So, yeah, that is a bit of a problem. The burnout is real. So, how do you fix this problem? Which, I guess in the grand scheme of things, is not a serious problem. The world has much bigger problems with this, but it's, I don't know, it's a little thing that concerns people who make From the Depths videos on the internet. On YouTube's side, firstly, good luck making the folks at YouTube HQ even aware of this particular aspect of it, and, like, I don't know how they would do anything about it, because their job's insanely complex, because YouTube's huge. You probably noticed, it's like, there's every topic under the sun, and they have to moderate this thing so you don't get things like terrorist recruitment videos popping up willy-nilly and stuff like that, so you don't want to break the algorithm, is the thing. So tweaks to the algorithm so that both the kind of content and the channel itself gets equal weight. Maybe that could do it, like, but at the same time it means that, like, some channels will hog all the views just doing whatever, and others will fall by the wayside, so I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And, yeah, so on the content creator side, there's essentially nothing we can do. We do have the final say over whatever kind of content we make, because we're the ones making it, but we will always be naturally encouraged, and there's probably a fascinating psychological study people could do about this kind of thing. We will always be naturally encouraged or discouraged by both what the algorithm steers us to and by viewer preferences, what you, the viewer, actually decide to click on, because the click is the main thing. It's that pivotal moment of you looking at a video and deciding, yes, I will click on that. That's where all the magic happens. And speaking of your clicks and your views, funny enough, you watching this actually have the most power to do something, even though, like, the way YouTube works, it takes thousands of viewers to actually make a huge dent. But basically, don't think of this as, like, I really don't want to sound like I'm begging or anything like that. Think of this as just, I don't know, a request. Not just for me, but for anyone else who, like, does content on YouTube, actually. It's like, this applies to everybody. But in particular for From the Depths content creators, because From the Depths is such a complex and difficult game to cover. Like, it's more challenging than other forms of content and other forms of video games. So basically, whatever regular content creators you watch, try not to always just go from one recommended video to the other, because that's letting the algorithm steer you. And the algorithm, as I said earlier, is simultaneously very smart, but also very stupid. So I suspect it tends to take you to the lowest common denominator, like the most obvious thing. But the way you can kind of circumvent that and potentially help out me and other content creators is actually visit the YouTube page channel and see what's there, because I suspect, and again, I'm perfectly willing to be proven wrong, the comment section exists for a reason for people calling out YouTubers and saying, like, actually, nah, you are mistaken, sir. But, I suspect most people don't actually visit the channel page itself and scroll down and browse there. But if you do, and I do this fairly often, when I find new YouTube channels, you might find videos that the algorithm hasn't shown you. Like, that have just kind of slipped under the radar, because it's very easy, because everything's in there. It's like billions of videos that have to be, well, organized and prioritized. And one example of this, which I'll probably flash up on screen right now, and I'm still in the process of watching it, by the way, is Lathrix, who is a much bigger YouTuber than me, but it's weird kind of listening to him talk about this. Like, he did a video some time ago where he just played Raft, single player. If you don't know about Raft, it's a survival game where you're on a raft and you build up your raft. Anyway, that video, especially compared to the videos just before and just after it, like, got basically considerably less views, and I am very curious to see whether it's because people just went, meh, that's not my thing, when they looked at it, or if they didn't even see it at all. Because, like, you kind of have much sympathy for Lathrix, and just, at some point you do want to just do stuff you enjoy on the channel, but people might not like it, or the algorithm might just go beep boop, this is not getting enough views, make more content, content slave. I didn't know I'd be doing voices in this video. But anyway, so you should all go watch Lathrix's Raft video, because it's great. I love it. But on that note, when a content creator tries something different, like, do give it a chance. Like, you know, you're not obligated. You are never obligated to spend the precious little time you have on this planet, in this universe, and you're not obligated to give your time to a YouTuber, of all people, because that's what you're effectively doing when you watch our videos. You're giving us your time, which is a huge compliment, by the way. But if you click on it and watch the first few seconds, if you like it, great. And if you don't, here's the third part of the favor. Leave feedback why. Like, that's a thing that I feel that, you know, it does happen, but I feel that the nice people don't do it enough. Like, people don't want to crap on people's content, and of course they certainly don't do it if they feel they're going to be ignored or, you know, just dismissed. But constructive criticism is helpful, so if a content creator does something new, do say, and in a respectful way as possible, just, you know, why you would not watch it. Because clear communication is very, very helpful, even if it's something that we might not like to hear. So, conclusion to this video, which has already gone a lot longer than I thought it would. This whole thing with, like, the content pigeonholing and how that relates almost doubled, in a sense, to people who cover from the depths, this might be just something we have to live with. It might be impossible to change how the algorithm works in a way that doesn't break it further, because the thing's always broken in some way. And for myself, I'm going to continue experimenting with content while still covering From the Depths. So, for those of you who are worrying, no, I'm not quite ready to quit From the Depths just yet, but I will be covering it more sporadically and with videos I find fun, rather than more complex things that people might prefer seeing. So, things like tutorials and stuff like that. Like, I've done so many tutorials on From the Depths so far, and it's gotten to the point where the stuff which I still need to cover is stuff that I cannot really do and can't really explain. At least not very well. So yeah, that's me. Like, I'm still gonna do From the Depths, nobody panic, but I'm not up for anything really complicated, so don't look for the Titan Slung Mark III anytime soon, unless I surprise myself and manage to do it. Who knows? And in the meantime, if you're only here for From the Depths, and like I said before, if that's what you're here for, I understand. That's kind of, you know, it's what you want to spend your time with. I can recommend some other content creators, some of which are way more popular than me, others whom are not. So, Brenzo is a content creator. He's done a... what did he do? He rebuilt the Ragnarok originally made by Robas, and he did a pretty good job of it, I think, and it was like quite a fun series to follow. But he's still making From the Depths videos. He's having fun. He's doing a laugh. I've learned things from watching his videos, so it's good. Menti, I believe, is still doing From the Depths tournament videos, still going, and Aperture Gaming does live streams for From the Depths. I unfortunately have not watched much of their content, but it's more FTD content if you have not heard of them. And Gmodism is still making tutorials and doing fun experimental stuff in From the Depths, and he's still enthusiastic about it, which is a big deal. So yeah, he's still doing stuff. Almost Futile, not uploading very often these days, but has the boldness to do things like suggesting that, like, should EMP be removed from the game, which is why I made a video about that, by the way, just to open up the discussion about it. The answer is no, by the way. People overwhelmingly said no. And of course there's Patch Bits. He's done a few From the Depths videos, which are quite well edited, and he's damn good. It's probably from all the Sprocket he's played. He's damn good at making things that look pretty for someone who hasn't covered the game much yet, so go watch that. And of course there's always Lathrix. Lathrix is still doing From the Depths stuff. I believe his Land Adventure Mode series is still ongoing, and he's doing groovy stuff with that, so give him a watch as well. And suggestions for other games, or even different forms of content entirely, are always welcome. So if you've got ideas, like if you like From the Depths, and like if there's other games you'd like to see me cover, or even other things, because I've tried stuff like the creative side. I've done a few art videos, I've done 2 art streams and an Aseprite video. You could find them on my channel, and yeah, it's like, and I will save some of you some time. I have tried both Space Engineers and Kerbal Space Program and Evorion, and I'm not particularly fond of any of them, so sorry to say, if you wanted to see those, I will not be covering them because I don't find them fun. Please don't take that personally. But that's about it for this. I guess this turned out rambly, even despite my best scripted effort. So, that'll about do it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, or the videos around it. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in, well, From the Depths, because like I said, I'll still be doing From the Depths videos, just slightly less often. Farewell!